Hi and welcome to everyone joining us for this preview. It will be for Friday racing at Fairview. Friday the 3rd of February already, 2023. Racing takes place on the turf track, and joining me on the line, none other than Grant Paddock, the specialist in Port Elizabeth. Good day, Grant. How are you doing?
Morning, Sheldon. Yeah, all good, my side. Thank you very much.
Weather-wise, how's the weather that side of the world?
We can't complain at the moment. Very decent weather. Can't complain at all, Sheldon.
Let's get straight into the action. The first race, this is for the youngsters, so the juveniles will do battle over 1,000 meters. And you kicking off with a banker straight off with number 7, which is Summer Odyssey. And here's a horse who's had 2 runs under the belt, taking on unraced horses, so you're never too certain how good the unraced are. But Summer Odyssey, you happy with what you've seen so far?
Yeah, Sheldon, definitely happy. That last run was probably a little bit too soon after her first one, but she was beaten by a very decent sort of Gavin Smith. The only other unraced horse here, Global Banker, Global View Bank on the run, it's a staying family. I don't know how, I haven't heard anything about him. And then from the Mitchley Yard, Queen Lagertha, she's also probably going to need the experience. So I'm very strong on Summer Odyssey. I think she's probably the best bet on the card. I think she opened up even money that was very generous, and I'll make her definitely the best bet on the card.
Well, that's a wrap for race number 1. Best bet on the card for Grant. Number 7, Summer Odyssey. And this daughter of Master of My Fate is looking to go on and get the victory. Let's go on to race number 2, where numbers 1 and 2, they are currently the favourites. Number 1 trading at 15-10. Number 2 is 5-2. And Grant, between numbers 1 and 2, you expecting the winner to come from these?
Yeah, undoubtedly. Definitely, I actually prefer the 1 to the 2. That Cape Town form is far superior to this field. I know she did bleed last time out. She's had a break. She's moved down to the Eastern Cape. Alan will have a spot on, and in fact, she doesn't even have to be spot on to beat this lot. You know, the others are well tried, bar number 11, Pomodora's Magic, who had a really good first run. And but I still think Aphrodite with experience, if she doesn't go wrong, she'll win comfortably. Yaya Maria and Pomodoro Magic to follow home.
Number 9, Celtic Vixen, the first time. I see there's been support from 16-1 down 8-1. Is there any word on the ground about this first timer?
Yes, Sheldon, actually, now that you mention it, there is a bit of word. I believe it's quite a quirky filly, and putting up very decent work, I believe. But Besram, out of a Centenary mare, obviously looking for a bit more ground. I think she's a full sister to Celtic Fire that ran down here in P, did extremely well. So it is one to watch, but Montana's horses normally need 1 or 2 before they spot on.
That'll take us on to race number 3. The third race is the Tab Telebet, maiden plate over 1,200 meters. So being on the turf, that'll be down the straight, down the lane, 1,200 meters. Grant, a big field is facing the starter, and you going with numbers 1, 2, and 8. Just looking at the betting, number 3, Settle the Dust is 9-2. Number 8, Captain Mornay is 6-1, and then it's 7-1 and better the rest. And then that horse number 13, Yanneman, 12.5-1. Disappointing last run?
Yeah, no, listen, they were very confused after that run. Probably the blinkers, they whipped them off. If you watch his horse work, it's unbelievable. You know, he'll put them all to sleep, whatever he works with. But he could be one of those horses that does it at home and not bring it to the races. But if the real Yanneman comes up, it's going to be a very interesting race. But still, I can't take chances with horses that have got those kind of issues. I've gone for Captain Mornay. He's got solid form. I'm going towards that Goom Goom form line. So I like Captain Mornay. Jackson, Mississippi's got to be right there. I did hear a squeak for this horse, Maya's Cat. I see my brother's first horse with Gavin Smith, so hopefully it goes well for him. It's a tricky race. It's not an open and shut race, there's no doubt. I don't know much about Settle the Dust. I see his favourite, but he's got absolutely no form. But then again, 6.5 lengths to Dave the King should probably put him in a race like this. But I'm still going with Captain Mornay here from Jackson, Mississippi, Settle the Dust, and Maya's Cat.
Let's move straight on to race number 4, and getting to race number 4, having a look at the betting. Well, I suppose it doesn't get any easier. They're betting 9-2 the field, anti-post. Number 9, Travel Master, is at 9-2. We then go out to 7-1 about number 13, Flinders Range. And there's a whole host of horses, 8-1 and 10-1. I'm going to give you a little bit of a look at number 11, Alado's Pride, at 12.5-1. I'm just hoping that this horse can recapture its best form. Where do you put number 7, Alado's Pride? This will be one of my value plays for the day into the equation.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you. I actually put him in the 3rd position here. It's a very tricky race. My value bet on the day is this horse, Globe Tonic. I've been waiting for this horse to go around the turn. I think he's going to give us a very, very good run. Louis is up from a decent draw of 5. So he's also a big runner. Tricky kind of a race, so there's no doubt. Well, my first selection is Africa's Rock. He's run too far stronger, 4 lengths to Naval Secret, 0.3 to Moon Game. That's very, very decent. He has got issues at the start, so if that doesn't worry him, he's a massive runner. Globe Tonic runner, Alado's Pride. But you have to go wide. Another horse here, Sheldon, that you have to look at, if he gets in, is the number 17, Ushuaia. If he gets in, he's back to 1400, back to the right trip. He'll be a big runner if he does get in. So punters must just have a look at that and see if he does get in. If he does get in, he's got to go into the play as well. But for me, 1, 5, 7 and 9.
Move on to race number 5, which is over 1,400 meters, and you've got 2 bankers in your perm. Your next banker will come up in the form of number 1, Bella Belize, and here's a horse who's in the form of her life.
Yeah, 100%. She's got the confidence now of, she ran 3 or 4 seconds in a row. She's got the confidence of winning. She won extremely well. I think she'll do it again. It's not an overly strong field. She's the biggest danger, Stolen Kiss, who won a very good race behind Pedro in a distance short of her best. I think she'll really enjoy the 1400, switched off and running on late. But same kind of thing for Bella Belize. She beat Stolen Kiss comfortably last time out, and I think she'll hold her again. So for me, Bella Belize, one of the better bets on the card, to banker in my bipot, and I think you could banker this in the pick 6 in place accumulator as well, to cover her up with Stolen Kiss, Phoenix, and a bit of Pam's Princess, who's holding decent form as well.
Just touching on number 2, Phoenix, having a look at the current betting for race number 5. That is the second favourite at 16-10, Bella Belize. Number 2, Phoenix, is 9-2. There's around about a 6 kg turnaround for a 2.5 lengths beating, let's say, with Bella Belize. But you believe Bella Belize will hold the form?
Yeah, 100%. Phoenix she knows how to run third. I can tell you that. She's really good at running third. One day she'll crack it. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow, though. I think Bella Belize still holds her.
Super. Let's move on to race number 6, which is over the 1,000 meter trip. And when you look at race number 6, scratch to the early timer recording is number 9, Time Chaser. So number 9, Time Chaser is out, leaves us with 8 runners who will go down to the post. Now, race number 6, point us in the right direction, Grant. How are we going to structure race number 6? They're betting 33-10 the field with numbers 1 and 3.
Yeah, very, very tricky fillies races. There's some very decent fillies. Both of those Duncan McKenzie fillies can run. Delicacy's coming off a bit of a break of 4 months. This filly, Variety Breeze, is probably going to be my first choice. She's run last time out. She was very unlucky. She objected, didn't get the race. She got beaten a short head by Vegas Gold over 1,000 course and distance against the boys. I think that's going to be strong enough to beat this lot. I'll be very honest with you. I think Variety Breeze, then the 2 Princess Debs and Angel Debs. And this filly, Tipsy Teen, is also very, very quick. She's got no weight on her back with some Corleone from draw 3, so she'll be rocking and rolling. 5 furlongs is a speciality, so she's got to go in play. It's not a straightforward race, this. I went 3-1-5-2, but you have to add in the 7 into bigger perms.
Super. As we move on to race number 7, Dwarf at 16-15, which is over 2,000 meters. And this is why we've got Grant Paddock on the line. He points us in the right direction. He's got his ear to the ground. And looking at race number 7, I see number 1, Ideal Angel. Last run, handy, no finish. And that was after very impressive wins.
Yeah, it was. It was also in the Fairview 1900 on the poly against the boys. She got beaten 6.7 lengths by grazing in the grass. It's not a bad run at all, I must be honest with you. But you know, she's not against the strongest of fields here. If Louis gets her away from the field at the right time, you know, even with the 61, she's a big girl. She can carry that kind of a weight. She did when she beat Wildest Dreams by 11 lengths. That form has all been on the poly. She has won on the grass here before too, Sheldon. So she's probably my first choice. And then there's a bit of talk for this horse, the 4 Aerial View. You'll probably know more from the Durban side, but there's quite a bit of talk for that. And Master's Queen also comes in holding very decent form. So 1, 4, 7, and 6. That's probably what you're going to need. But my preference to the 1 and 4.
One race left on the program, Grant, and that'll be race number 8 over 1900 meters. And when you look at the betting, number 2, Heathcliff, that is the lukewarm favorite who's trading at 4-1. You can then get 7-1 and better the rest of the field. Let's start off with number 1, American Landing, because this is a horse that I've been following for an eternity. And Richard Fourie managed to get him to revitalize last time out, and he beat Guy Alexander. Rachel Venica, who has partnered American Landing before, can he go back-to-back here?
I think the handicapper was extremely strong on him. A 7-point penalty for an 8-year-old. I don't know how they get to the 7 points. It'll be interesting to hear that. But he dropped to a competitive rating. He won off the competitive rating, and I think they've just blown him out of the picture, to be very honest with you. I'm strong on this horse, Heathcliff. He's a very decent 3-year-old. I think he's going to love the grass. Comes with a late run, not concerned about the bad draw. You got the whole back straight and the long front straight there. Very tricky race past Heathcliff. Humble Tuna in a very good race last time out back on the grass, and he was expected to run a good race and ran second. Then you got the likes of Dirty Martini. Tozetti is also quite interesting runner. But I'm strong on Heathcliff here. I think Richard's jumped off American Landing to get on Heathcliff. I think he's the better one, and I think he'll win this one at the back.
Well, thanks very much, Grant, for your valuable input. We're going to go with number 2, Heathcliff. And as you pointed out, Richard Fourie, he's jumped aboard and he knows Heathcliff exceptionally well. He's ridden him in his last 3 or 4 runs, and he'll be looking to go into the winner's enclosure. Take your swingers and your exactors with number 1, American Landing. Now let's take a look at the suggested bet from Grant Paddock, and he's elected to go with a bipot on the day, and we'll get to those numbers shortly. Opening leg, number 7, a banker, followed by numbers 1 and 2, then numbers 1, 2 and 8. In the 4th leg, no chances, 4 runners, 1, 5, 7 and 9. The second of the bankers will be in the penultimate leg, where number 1 will be the banker, and followed by the final leg, 1, 2, 3 and 5. Race 1, number 7, Summer Odyssey, the best bet on the card. And then when you're looking for the value bet, race 4, number 5, Globe Tonic. Thanks very much, Grant. Always a pleasure having you on the line, and always a pleasure having you giving us some insight into the runners for the day, and hopefully the selections do it for us on the racetrack.
Thank you very much, Sheldon. Go well.
Thanks very much to Grant Paddock on the line for the Fairview race meeting. Best of luck to all the punters out there. And like I said, hopefully the horses bring home the money for you at the track.